by playing a game, because everyone loves games, right? If you don't love games, probably the right time to change rooms. Okay, so what I want you to do is put your hand in the air like you just don't care. Good job. All right. Now keep your hand up. I'm watching, I saw that. If you do not own a smartphone, put your hand down. Did anyone put their hand down? Oh, awesome, you guys rock. Otherwise it was like, oh, you poor thing. All right. If you do not have a game on your smartphone, put your hand down. Oh, that's definitely an aw. If you had someone on your table put their hand down, give them a hug. Because their life ain't so good. The rest of you, good job, well done. All right, you can put your hands down, by the way. I love a good game. What games do you have on your phones, by the way? Any I should be playing? I like Crossy Road, that's kind of cool. What are you playing? Which one? Oh, I haven't heard that one. I'll have to check that one out. What else are you playing? Words with Friends. No, I lose at that. I'm not playing that one anymore. What else have you got? Harry Potter. I should have known that. I'm in a geeky environment, aren't I? Beautiful. All right, so games are awesome. We all know that. If I actually have to convince you about how good games are and gamification are, maybe I should just start by taking that rock off you and just going, hey, welcome to this millennium. We all know that they're pretty cool, right? And there's a number of ways that you can do it. So for instance, I was given a really cool challenge of, we want to run risk management training for our staff. Who doesn't love a bit of risk management training? Yeah. So the compliance manager was super excited about this. She's like, oh, this would be great. Everyone's going to love it. We're going to do some risk management stuff. Here's a policy. Here's the PowerPoint that we would deliver in the workshop. And then once they've read all that, then they can answer some questions. I said, you really don't like the staff, do you? But she was super excited. She was like, no, they're going to love this. And I went, no, they're not. I hate to tell you, you're the only person who's going to love that. So I said, well, what about if I made it into a game? And so I challenged myself and I made it into a Risk arcade game from like the 90s. All right, so it was kind of like the Donkey Kong kind of era. And she did love it. I loved it until she requested like the 20th amendment to it. Because idiot me decided to use Adobe Captivate to do it. You know, you've got to love a good SCORM package, right? Once. It's a bit like, you know, toolboxes. So I diligently made it in Adobe Captivate. It looked terrific, but man, it took a long time. So then I look at H5P, and that's super cool. I can do stuff in that. If you're interested in that, I just happen to be back up here tomorrow. And you can do stuff within Moodle as well. Generally, I try and go, what can I do directly within Moodle? Because I love it. And it's the easiest way to do things. But sometimes it takes a longer period of time to do that. So what I went looking for was, how can I actually build a learning game but make it quicker? Because then eventually I'm going to save some money, right? So I went out and I went looking for, and I'm assuming this is the clicker that does stuff. Oh, not that one. And not that one. Oh, big green arrow. All right, so if you need to be convinced of stuff, you know, games are good. All right, they gave me some stats. I'm like, yeah, that's great. And yeah, no one cares. Let's get to the fun stuff, right? So I found these guys who already made software that would do this stuff, right? And I said, that's awesome. We're a poor Tafe. What can you do for me? And they said, you know what? We love Moodlers. Who doesn't? And we love education. So they actually gave us 50% discount. And the good news is they're going to give you 50% discount too, because I batted my eyelashes at them, and who could say no to this, right? So these guys are going to give you 50% discount if you want to try it. Now, the really cool thing is that there's a trial as well, like you can just have a go, right? And if at the end of that you still don't want to do stuff with them, that's cool. But what I found just by playing with it was it inspired me with my Moodle courses. All right, so it gave me some ideas around some of those other gamification elements I could bring into the Moodle courses that I was doing as well. So you can't lose, right? Big green button. Right, so they've got lots of different games that you can play. And what I've got is just a whole bunch of screenshots that I'm going to show you, where I'm going to show you some of the ones that I built. And you can scream out questions along the way, happy to take them, or you can rugby tackle me in the hallway. And there's lots of reasons to choose particular games. All right, I'm kind of allergic to the pedagogy word and all that crap, right? So I go, okay, what do I want someone to do? Let's try this game, but also what type of person is going to be doing this, right? So for instance, what I ended up doing was build some examples, because people don't get it till they have a go at it, right? So I took each of the games, thought, why would someone use this game? And I built some examples so that the teachers at the Tafe could actually go and have a go at the game. And then they would get some ideas of why it would be used. They particularly liked it for maths. That was pretty cool. So it's really good. Learning games are awesome where there's that rote learning. So you want someone to be able to master something, do it in a really safe environment. They can do it a million times. They're not bugging you. Win-win. All right, so if you love arcade games, you're going to love the jump game. So essentially what you do is you want to get the little dude up as high as you can. It has all the tutorials there. You can turn on tutorials or you can turn them off, depends on your cohort, right? So you can control what it says at the beginning, what it's called. All you have to do, all essentially you're doing is building multiple choice quiz. Okay, so the teacher only needs to have a Word document of here's my questions and here are the answers. And then you just copy and paste that in. But you look like you're really awesome, right? You're like, oh yes, I built this. Okay, take full credit. Okay, and then at the end of it, that sense of competition, it already does the leaderboard for you. But you can also turn off the leaderboard as well if you want to. So the option is yours. Trivia game is very similar to that concept, so it's still multiple choice questions. But some people with the jump game don't like the whole having to, all you do is use your arrow keys and you get the little man to jump up, right? You want to get him as high up as you can, answering questions along the way. If you answer the question right, you get an extra life. If you fall off the screen, you've lost a life. You got 3 lives. But some people go, I can't, I meant it. So if you've got those people, then this would be a better version to go with the trivia game. But essentially does the same thing. And with either of them, you can set a timer or you can turn the timer off. So if you'd like to create that sense of urgency, I usually give them like 20, 30 seconds to answer the question. Some of the games will also increase their score if they answer it quicker. Depends which game you pick. So there's just some examples of some of the bits. So I will use learning games also to teach teachers about Moodle, for instance. So you've got a win-win. They're playing with some learning games going, oh yeah, I could do that. That's pretty cool. Plus they're learning about Moodle as well. Scenario game, really cool. Again, you can do this in a authoring package like Adobe Captivate. You can do it, H5P scenario tool is pretty cool as well. But I'd have to say for gamification, this is much quicker. All right, super easy. Again, someone can just come up with a Word document or a PowerPoint going, this is my storyboard. Essentially, it's kind of like having multiple choice, but you're saying, if you choose this, this is where you then go, and what sort of feedback you want to give them. Again, you can put in instructions and stuff, or you can turn that off. So I chose this one for one of the first aid courses, and so they're just going through a little scenario with that. Again, you can base it on time. I felt with first aid it should have a timer. All right, create that sense of urgency rather than going, wait, give me a chance. What do I do now? All right, so I did put in a timer, and again, you can see that their score is going to be reflected on how quickly they answer that. And also, if they, you can choose whether you just bump them forward, whether they get it right or wrong, or spin them back a step. I make them go back and go, bugger, that was wrong. Let's try that one. And if they have to go back, they can lose points, etc. You've got that control. Again, you can do the leaderboard. I scrubbed out the names a bit because there's some of our teachers, and there's more of them than there are of me, even though I'm a black belt, so some of them did well. The matching game. Anyone into Bejeweled or any of those, or Candy Crush kind of games? Oh, come on, yeah. I like them. So this is kind of similar to that. So all they need to do is do some matching. When they get the matching happening, then they get a question. All right, so again, if you get questions right, you get bonuses, you get power-ups, all that kind of stuff. And again, at the end, you can do, there's just some examples of some of the questions. And you can again put leaderboards and things on the end, give them a chance to do it again. And all of these embed directly within your Moodle course. So you can either have them hosted out on an external website, or you can just download them as a SCORM package, just drop them straight into Moodle. So all your tracking is in there as well. So that the end user doesn't think it's anything other than Moodle, which is really cool. See, I did really well. Did you notice that? Look carefully. Maybe because I made it. Scramble. So if you do language type stuff, if you want people to have to spell correctly, etc. So this won't apply to all cohorts because it is very much this letter should go here, these words should go in this order. But this can certainly be helpful as well. All right, and again, you can base it on if you get this question right, then you get the next question right, your score goes up, etc. So you get bonuses, and again, you can do leaderboards, etc. Recall is a really groovy one. So essentially what you do is you pop a photo, and then you ask some questions about that photo. The quicker someone goes, yep, I've got the photo, I've got it in my mind, and answers some questions, the greater the score. All right, so you can have whatever photos you like, have whatever questions you like, but again, they're trying to answer as many questions correctly as quickly as they possibly can as well. So a really groovy one, I like that one. Sorting it. So let's say, for instance, I took this one for some first aid situations and said, all right, what applies to what? Again, these are just different ways of achieving the same sort of goal. There's no right or wrong on which game you pick. Right? You've not only got to think about what it is that you want someone to learn, but who's learning it. So just some examples. Putting imagery in on any of these games is always awesome. And then you've got all these settings that you can choose. So you're picking which game, you're picking how the game is set up. You've got full control over that. Super easy to use. Even I can use it, and I'm a Moodler. You can choose your theme. All right, you can choose what things are called, whether it's got annoying music in the background or not. All of that is at your discretion. How much you want to torment your students is at your discretion. Love it. All right, you can add some questions. The only tip I'd really give you there is, number one, don't start out super hard with your questions. Build their confidence. Pretend that you're going to be nice and then gradually get meaner. And also make sure you've got some feedback in there as well, not just good job. All right, it's really easy to just go good job each time, but it's not helpful. It can be translated into other languages, and there are analytics in the system as well. You know, everyone loves analytics at the moment. So yes, you can do that. Because it's interactive, you can very quickly and easily see how things are going. This is the only part you care about if you're like, ooh, that looks interesting. All right. So there is a discount code for anyone who comes to Moodle Moot. You can get 50% off. As I said, you can just do a free trial and just get inspired of, okay, how could I use H5P for that, or a lesson tool, or Moodle in general, right? Lots of stuff that you can do. That's where you go. So I'll leave that one up. And do I have time for questions? I do. Awesome. I dare you.
Those prices, were they with 50% off?
No. That's before. Yes. Yeah. Any other questions?
Yep. Thanks for the presentation. It was good.
I've lost him. Oh, there you are. Hey, how you doing?
Is there any way to integrate that with Gradebook or the batches?
Yes, because it comes in, so it's using a SCORM package tool. So literally if you downloaded a SCORM and put it in, it's just like putting any other SCORM object into Moodle. So all those activity completion requirements, etc., all talk nicely to the gradebook and any other restrictions and completion requirements that you want.
Great, thanks.
Ooh, there's one over there. Run! Oh, no, don't run. I've seen who it was. Slow down.
Hello, thank you. My question was regarding the particular content that you're using there. Do you also offer an alternative way for cohorts to get into that content? Because there are certain people, as we saw, don't like games. Older, we teach a lot of older cohorts, and anything I try to do like this, I get told they won't touch it. Do you offer alternate pathways to get that material?
Yeah, I mean, that's super important. The other thing I'd always challenge is who is telling you that they won't use it? Because I get that a lot where the teacher goes, no, they won't use that. And that's because they're the person who goes, I don't have any games on my phone. You're like, well, you need to get out the way because there might be some learners, irrespective of age, that might want to use that. So I think it's always beneficial, but yeah, if you can offer alternatives as well, ideal.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Michelle. We really appreciated that conversation. A round of applause for Michelle. Thank you so much.